Cinderella and the Vampire Prince, written by Wiley Blevins, illustrated by Steve Cox. It was a dark and stormy night. At least, that's how most scary stories start, and this is one of the scariest. Deep in a forest lived a girl named Ella. Each night she would rub cinders or ashes from her fireplace on her arms and legs to hide in the dark. Then she would sneak out for adventure. People began calling the girl Cinderella. They would spot her in the night, climbing trees, shouting at the moon, and playing with forest animals. During the day, Cinderella lived with her evil stepmother and two mean and overly clean stepsisters. Cinderella longed for the day she could leave. She only felt happy when it was dark, but nobody understood her love of the night. One day, a golden envelope was slipped under her door. It contained an invitation to a ball at a nearby castle. The prince was looking for a princess. Cinderella had never wanted to marry a prince, but she so wanted to escape her mean stepmother and stepsisters, so she thought, maybe I should go. But there was a problem. Unlike her stepsisters, Cinderella had nothing to wear to a prince's ball, and unlike her stepsisters, she had no way to get there. Cinderella sat in a tree and felt sorry for herself. Just then, Cinderella's fairy godfather appeared. Her sweet and gentle fairy godmother was away on vacation. It had been a stressful year watching over Cinderella. Her fairy godfather was not so kind or trustworthy. "What will I wear?" asked Cinderella. Her fairy godfather waved his magic wand and laughed. Cinderella looked down. She was wearing a puffy dress with shiny red designs all over it. Her black sneakers stuck out from underneath. "And how will I get to the ball?" asked Cinderella. "Instead of a pumpkin, I will use this blood-red tomato," laughed her fairy godfather. "The prince will love it." The night of the ball arrived. Cinderella climbed out her bedroom window and hopped into the tomato carriage. When she arrived at the prince's castle, everyone stared, especially the prince. "Who is this beautiful girl?" whispered the guests. "Ghosts, mummies, zombies, ghouls, and all sorts of spooky creatures. What great costumes," thought Cinderella. But these weren't costumes. A band of witches began to play music. The prince strutted over to Cinderella and asked for the first dance. They twirled and spun and waltzed around the dance floor. "Thank you," said the prince. Then he danced with Cinderella's stepsisters and the other girls. The hands of the clock raced around in dizzying speed until it was almost midnight. "It is time," announced the prince. "I must choose my princess." The prince carefully took one last sniff of each girl. The stepsisters smelled like roses. Other girls smelled like cinnamon and apple pie. Then he sniffed Cinderella. "I pick you," he said. "My nose never lies. You will have the tastiest blood." Cinderella shrieked, "He's a vampire!" And she bolted out of the castle as the clock stopped on midnight. One of her black sneakers fell off on the steep castle stairs. The prince grabbed her sneaker and chased after her. "That blood!" he yelled. "That delicious, juicy blood! Please don't leave me! I will make you my princess of the night!" Cinderella stopped in her tracks. Princess of the night? Just then, Cinderella realized a vampire prince might not be so bad after all. So she married him. And the two ruled the night, happily ever after. The end.